Teaching your teen about money can feel like trying to teach a cat how to swim. They think they know it all until life proves them wrong. I've worked with hundreds of families, and the top thing I've learned is it's not about yelling at them louder, it's about teaching them smarter. So, today, in this video, I'll give you three different ways to approach teaching your teen about money. Even if they roll their eyes, argue, or believe they know it all, these methods, at least one of them, should get through to them, and then just double down on that depending on who your teen is. All right. So it's a three-part plan, three methods. One, two, three of them things. So lesson number one, questions. Focus on questions, not commands. Instead of saying, hey, you need to start saving. Haven't I told you about saving? Wow, you just spent all your money, you're still not saving? Ask them, what would you do right now if you had $1,000? What would you do right now if you had $100? And sit quietly. People love to fill up silence. Sit quietly, allow that thought to run through your teenager's mind and think about all the different things they would do if they had that money. And then maybe ask them, okay, so that's what you do with 100. Would you rather have 100 or 200? Let them think about that. Most likely say 200. And it's like, well, if you were to invest that 100, after X amount of time, it would turn into 200. So, you know, the next time you get money, does it make more sense to, spend 100% of it, or maybe put a portion away so that it can double in the future? Um, in my experience, having these more calm talks and allowing the teenager to answer my questions as opposed to me just force feeding a lot of information has worked a lot better. So try that out. Try asking questions. All right. Now, number two, one of my favorites, pain, right? Let them touch the stove safely. Create controlled mistakes. Like you're a parent, you don't want them to, die or lose hope in the world, but you should let them feel what it feels like to mess up with their money. I've been letting my son do that a lot. And I'll come back and he gets tired of it because I'll be like, weird. So that's what happened, huh? Bet you wish you would have listened to me. And, while I say it in a joke, and that's just the relationship we have, in all actuality, it's good. I'm glad he has all these situations where because nobody intentionally does anything wrong. Everyone does what they believe is right and what they believe will give them the best result, which is perfect. I think that's the best way to learn. Is like me personally, the best way I learned, even as an adult, is to do something that I believe will get me the best result, and then find out that it was wrong, and then have somebody tell me, so you did what you thought was best, you saw it didn't work, here's what's actually best and why it'll work. I'm so much more receptive to that answer instead of somebody telling me their way of doing something while I still believe my way of doing something is right because I have not been proven wrong yet. So just think about that. Figure out some controlled instances where you can maybe decide, like, okay, your allowances now. Maybe if you were giving them weekly allowance, be like, all right, now you're getting, would you like all your allowance, paid up at the front? So instead of getting, $20 a week, you're like, all right, here you go. You get $80 right now on the first. Enjoy, but don't buy them stuff later when they ask, because they're going to run out of that $80 in the first probably 3 days. And you'd be like, well, you're just cooked. That's a word I learned from my teenager. They say you're cooked. That means you done messed up. You're done for. So yep, if they spend all the money in the first 3 days, you're cooked. Now you have to wait until next month before you get another dollar. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't ask me for no ice cream. I don't care about the trucks or their songs. Don't ask me for no shoes. Don't ask me for nothing, because this is something I've already paid you up front for. And this is a beautiful lesson, because that's going to happen when they're an adult. They're going to get their paycheck, on the first, maybe the 15th or the 30th, or whenever the heck they get their paycheck. and they're responsible for making that paycheck last maybe the whole month or the whole 15 days. So I think it's much better to let them experience that pain now, or what it feels like to blow all your money on the front end, so that they don't have to experience it when they're an adult and it actually hurts them. And number 3, visible, right? You should practice what you preach. Teenagers, especially, like while they were kids, they listen to just anything you say, and that's fine. When they're a teenager, they don't give a crap about what you say. But if they see you doing something, and if they see you doing it often, and they see how well it works, that's going to motivate them to want to do it. Like, I can't complain too much that my son isn't a good saver, because I've never pushed it in his face enough that I save. But something I have pushed in his face a lot is investing. Whenever I'm up, I'm like, hey, look at this. I just made $5,000 today. Chilling. I just slept and I woke up and there it is. I show them the up days, I show them the down days, but then it's like, well, here's what it's been over the year. So, I'm still up, whatever percentage. And because I show him that, he's like, man, oh, wow, you got this much and that much, and that number turns into that. And I'm like, yep, all of that was just because I kept putting in small amounts of money over a long period of time. So now I have a lot of money in this thing, and it makes more money. It's a beautiful system. So because I showed him that regularly, he started saying things like, man, I want to invest. I want some Amazon. I want some Microsoft. I want the S&P 500. Like, he wants to put money into that. So we created him, a youth account with Fidelity, and now he has been investing his own money. And now he'll hit me up. He'll be like, oh, did you see? Nvidia went up today. I just made $16 or $27, and he's hyped. He's enjoying it, and that's because of the visibility. So, reason I'm sharing this: show your teen anything, even if you don't invest, which you should be. We'll get into that later. Just come to Mammoth Money Academy and I will show you everything to invest in. And then you can show your kid what to invest in. And we can talk about it in our adult parental community, parents only. But the reason I'm sharing this, even if you don't invest, share your budgeting methods. If you have a spreadsheet, if you have an app, if you're putting money into your savings or what your emergency savings looks like, show that to your kid. Kids like seeing high dollar amounts. So, if you got 10 grand sitting in your emergency savings or something, show them, be like, hey, I've had this money sitting here. It's been here for the last 3 years. I don't touch it because it's my emergency savings. If our car breaks down, it'll be fixed the next day, or if we lose 4 tires, I can buy all 4 tires. Or if the roof falls in, I can get that fixed. I can put us in a hotel because of this number, because I keep this here and I don't touch it, so that my family is secure. Share that stuff with your kids. It's powerful. And then, yeah, just watch what happens. Your actions and what you're doing go so much farther than you just telling them to do stuff. Especially if you tell them to do stuff and they see that you don't do it, forget about it. That's not going anywhere. So, in conclusion, the 3 things that you should, try to use to get your child into a better financial situation and better habits outside of yelling at them are questions. Ask them questions. Encourage their brains to function critically so they can start thinking of better ways to build these good habits, better ways to make money, maybe start a business, things like that. Questions go a long way. And when you ask them a question, because they love to say, I don't know, I'd be about to punch my son in the chest. I'm like, stop saying, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just going to assume you don't know a bunch of stuff. Okay. Don't tell me you don't know. You sit there and think about it until you know. Because I'm asking you a whole bunch of hypothetical questions. You just have to, I knew you don't know the second I asked you. Take a few seconds, think about it, and give me an actual answer. And they'll surprise themselves. They're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess this, and that. I'm like, oh, weird. I guess you do know. Because it's easier not to think. And that's for y'all adults too. Y'all that be saying that you don't know stuff. If you think for like 10, have you ever sat there and thought for 10 seconds? Most people don't. Like actually critically think and try to figure out how to do something. You'll be so surprised how much further you get if you actually think about something instead of saying, I don't know or I can't. That's another rant. Anyways, questions, pain. Let them feel what it's like to mess up so that they'll be more avoidant to it in the future. And visible. They need to see you doing these good habits so that they see, oh, that's beneficial. That's why he's doing that. That's why she's doing that. Now I want to do that. All right. But if you don't teach them now, the world will do it for you. They gonna learn. They gonna learn. They're gonna get them overdraft fees. Their debt collectors gonna be calling and knocking, and they're gonna miss out on a plethora of opportunities that would have set them up for a much easier, much painless life. But if you don't want to, that is your prerogative. At Mammoth Money Academy, though, we help parents build financial confidence in their teens, and we do it without arguing, without having to repeat themselves. We teach our parents and share information to make this process really easy and make it very acceptable to the kids. So click the link in the description if you're interested. If you're not, just hit a like on the video. I'll take either. And I'll see you in the next one.